we always look back how this company started. I think we never forget about that. The uniqueness of this company is the foundation that the founding management team has laid out in terms of Safaricom business is in service of what, and that's why the purpose becomes such a critical element of what we do. And I mentioned about it when I met you last time. That has not changed.
Good. Mr. Dilip, good seeing you again. No, don't know if I should refer you to doctor, as per what Caro said. But anyway, strong set of numbers. For the half year 2026. From a group level, what are the key highlights from what you said?
Yeah. So thank you, Eric, for having me, and thank you for coming to be part of our results release presentation. And doctor, not yet. Mm-hmm. Now, from a group perspective, I think some key numbers that really shows up is the customer. I would start with the customers. 60 million plus customers at a group level. I think we will be one of the, I don't know, I don't have the actual ranking, but I think we will be one of the maybe top 10 within this region in terms of a group having 60 million plus customers. With, you saw Kenya crossing 50 million and Ethiopia also crossing the 10 million, which is a very, very important milestone. I think that to my mind is one key milestones. And then from the other flavor that I want to talk about is we now start to see Ethiopia showing up in the group revenue. 11% of the growth came from Ethiopia. The overall group revenue, 200 billion for the first half of the year, which is also quite an incredible number. And the way we have spoken about before is Kenya continues to perform very well. You saw top line 9.3% growth, showing up right up to the net income growth of 22.6%. These are a very good set of numbers, as you rightly said. Now, what in the group now shows up, Kenya performing very well, and we expected also Ethiopia to now reduce its losses. And that's what comes in now overall. If you look at the overall group performance, if you unpack that, the year-over-year growth is significantly in a positive trajectory because Kenya doing well, Ethiopia losses are coming down, and that's what's reflected, more than 50% growth in the net income for the group if you remove the minority interest. Mm-hmm. So I think I will summarize that as overall highlight for the group performance.
Okay, interesting. Safaricom is celebrating 25 years since the start, and if I could remember a bit of the details, 17,000 customers when you started, now probably over 50 million. And I was trying to compare between similar businesses or industry peers across the world. When you look at what's happening across the world, GSM business is going down, but for Safaricom, it's still going up, growing at a significant rate. And when you look at specifically the Ethiopia market, for example, compared to when the Kenya business started and how Ethiopia started, the speed at which Ethiopia business is growing is quite insane. And maybe the other thing that I could remember from M-PESA, the customer numbers. What makes Safaricom different from this industry peers? And I think a few weeks back we had this conversation around the valuation side of it. When you look at these similar businesses across the world, they are valued at 10x. Safaricom, of course, is around 3x now, as of yesterday. What's your take around?
Yeah. So I think you have quite a few questions in one question. I'll try first with what makes Safaricom unique. I think as a management responsible for driving this business today, we always look back how this company started. I think we never forget about that. The uniqueness of this company is the foundation that the founding management team has laid out in terms of Safaricom business is in service of what, and that's why the purpose becomes such a critical element of what we do. And I mentioned about it when I met you last time. That has not changed. Is whatever we do is in service of the purpose of transforming lives. As long as you keep that anchor, everything you do, anchoring on that, I think it makes you unique. And you don't have to do this for a report release, but you believe in it. The 6,000 employees of this company, they believe in it, and that's how we operate. So I think there is something unique about that part. When I joined 5 years back in this company, I came from outside and I felt it. Yeah. So that, to my mind, is what makes Safaricom unique. Then I will talk about the innovation. Um, this company has been successful because it innovated, and it innovated ahead of others, be it the continent or be it even in the country. And to enable that, I think a lot of credit goes to also in the way we, the culture of innovation, how you encouraged people to experiment and see what that gives to them. And if you see over a period of time from where we started, if I just see that started from a GSM business, expanding to M-PESA, going into M-PESA. M-PESA, we started as just as a loyalty product, became such an important element of business today. It's 44.5% of the business today. You can almost say half of the business, not half yet, but close to half of the business today. But it was not meant to be that way. But it all happened because starting with something and then over a period of time experimenting, innovating, building new solutions. We are still doing it. We don't think we have done enough of it. There is still a lot to be done in this space. Peter spoke about the new platform, a big refresh that we have done on the FinTech 2.0, which allows kind of a new level of innovation, a new level of freshness in the way we serve our customers in FinTech space. So I will say that's the innovation. So innovation is not only in the way you just develop products and offer to the customers, but also the way you serve customers. So that's why I think it makes it unique. On the GSM side of it, specific to Kenya, I think as long as you know what customers want and you're able to provide that, we actually have seen, we kind of a reversed way, Kenya, despite voice business becoming such a big part of business, and then other part of the world which is declining, we still managed to keep it intact. But if I now contrast that with Ethiopia, I think Ethiopia need not have to go through the cycle of what we have seen for Kenya, simply because Ethiopia started with a full digital stack with a 4G for all, so you don't start with 2G, upgrading to 3G and then moving to 4G. You start with all 3,300 sites today we have, they're all 4G enabled. I think that enabled customers to start using our network by subscribing to mobile data, which is what actually transformed the country in a way it has never seen before. I think we enable the experience of the industry to move few notches higher than what it was before. Now, once you have that, you now start seeing, you saw the half-yearly results. Voice has grown 5 times, because now you're beginning to see the network effect. When you have more customers, one customer calls another customers, and that's how we build the voice network. I think it will be on a different, different path than what it has done in Kenya, but both are relevant. But that's still a baby, but this is a bit of a grown-up child, I will say.
Okay, interesting. Still on the numbers, from the half-year numbers, free cash flow softened by around 24.2% year-on-year to 13 billion. As a management or at the CFO, are you guys balancing the interim dividends versus the balance sheet flexibility? Given the changes to payout, are there any changes to the payout or leverage bands?
So let me start with the payout first, and I spoke about that when the questions came in. We don't think that there is any need for any change in the payout policy. I think our dividend policy still remains same, although we don't give any guidance on our dividend or guidance on our net income. But if you just take a proxy of EBIT growth, year over year, you can see that it's growing over 50%. So EBIT growth gives you kind of a sense of what's the net income is going to land, right? So there is no reason for us to believe that net income growth will be materially changing from what you can do the calculation and from the half-year trends that you have seen. Now, coming back to your point on, I think first of all, I'm reconfirming that there is no change in the dividend policy. There is no change in, I think normally we do our interim dividend discussion in February board, and most likely that will be discussed and hopefully board will approve, because that was what we have done. Coming back to your point on the free cash flow, and that's what I tried to explain in my presentation. So there is a two side. This is a group free cash flow. It's for Kenya as well as for Ethiopia. Kenya side is a timing. I mean, I can explain you. Part of this is last half year, we pay annual CA fee, the Communication Authorities, a license fee that we pay. It was about approximately, I think, 8 to 9 billion shilling. We paid in second half. This year, we paid in the first half. So this will unwind in the H2. But there are also some other payments that we have made will be unwinding. So Kenya is purely, timing issue. In Ethiopia, last year we had a lot of creditors balance that we had, and we paid off in this financial. Our CapEx level is also lower. So therefore, you also see a CapEx creditors lower than what you normally see. So, and I also mentioned about in my presentation, overall, H2, I think our cash flow profile will not change, and it will still be a very good cash flow profile for the full year. So nothing to worry on free cash flow.
Okay, interesting. Speaking on CapEx, the half-year CapEx was about 43 billion, which is about 25.6% down minus. As you're going into H2, are you facing? I mean, how is the CapEx mix shifting?
Yeah. So CapEx, again, you have to unpack between Kenya and Ethiopia. Kenya CapEx is actually grown year over year in H1, I think by 11-12%, which is, we still remain within our overall CapEx plan, but what we have done is we front-loaded our CapEx to make sure that we get the best benefit of the commercial benefit that we want to extract. For example, we rolled out 400 sites in the half year. Yeah. So this typically we do in a full year, which means the CapEx was spent in the half year of this year. That's why you see a CapEx. If you look at the number, you will see that Kenya actually CapEx went up by about 11%. Now the decline by about 66% is in Ethiopia CapEx, and we have guided Ethiopia CapEx. We said we are way past our peak CapEx in Ethiopia, and we actually, when you gave our full year results guidance on CapEx, we said we expect our Ethiopia CapEx to be half of what we spent last year. So it's pretty much falling in line with what you have already guided.
Okay.
So it's nothing to worry about. I also mentioned about that the CapEx plan is very much within the plan that we have spoken about, and it will remain within that only.
Okay, good. Thanks, Dilip, for your brief on the questions. Maybe any final thoughts with regards to the new strategy that you started implementing recently, what to expect from that?
No, it's a very good start. As I know, this is the first year of strategy.
Yeah.
So half year, extremely happy with the execution that we have done in Kenya, and the numbers definitely speak through that. And pretty much also on the commercial execution side, we have seen that we are executing very well on that. So we're very happy, very good start. Kenya and Ethiopia also, we are executing commercially. Yes, there are few headwinds that we're dealing with, including currency depreciation and the market repair, which has to happen in future.
Final question. Why is Safaricom bullish on Kenya and the region?
I think this is a very good question, and I have always mentioned about it. I think I always see things in the way when we talk to our investors, how Kenya is different from others. If you look at today, I think on the macros, Kenya is doing extremely well. I mean, look at inflation, look at GDP growth, and the currency, which has been one of the biggest concern for the investors. Now, that's one way to look at. But the confidence should come in from Safaricom's own, because end of the day, we have to give return to our shareholders. Look at our investment. For the last 5 years that I am here in my role, every single year we have invested more than what we invested before in terms of CapEx plus spectrum investment that we do. So that speaks of itself. So, but you have to believe in the country that we know that if we innovate, if we invest in the right offerings, ultimately customers, you serve them customers, they stay loyal. And that's why you are celebrating 25 years of Safaricom, celebrating 50 million of customers in Kenya.
Yeah.
So it's not surprised that we are bullish on Kenya.
Okay, good. Thank you so much, Dilip. Looking forward to the next set of earnings and, of course, the next engagement.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.